वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौर निताय गौर निताय गौर निताय जय गौर निताय जय कृष्ण बलराम Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Radha Shyamasundar, Radha Shyamasundar Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् भय चरणारविंद भक्ति विधान स्वामी जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्य की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की, श्री श्री निताई गौर सुंदर की, श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की, श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर ललिता विशाखा देवी की, हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति विधान स्वामी जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, हरे कृष्ण। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, हरे कृष्ण। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, हरे कृष्ण। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री श्री गुरु एंड गौरांगा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। Hare Krishna. So, reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 5th, text 62. माया अंशे कही तारे निमित्त कारण, सेहन है जाते करता हेतु नारायण। माया अंशे कही तारे निमित्त कारण, सेहन है जाते करता हेतु नारायण। माया अंशे कही तारे निमित्त कारण, सेहन है जाते करता हेतु नारायण। माया अंशे कही तारे निमित्त कारण, मायाम से कही तारे निमित्त कारण, सेहन है जाते करता हेतु नारायण। निमित्त कारण, सेहन है जाते करता हेतु नारायण। मायाम से कही तारे निमित्त कारण, सेह नहे जाते करता हेतु नारायण। मायाम से कही तारे निमित्त कारण, सेह नहे जाते करता हेतु नारायण। वर्ड मायाम से कही तारे निमित्त कारण, सेह नहे जाते करता हेतु नारायण। Word by word meaning by Srila Prabhupada. Maya amshe, to the other portion of material nature. Kahi, I say, tare, unto her, nimitta karana, immediate cause, seha nahe, that cannot be, jate, because, karta hetu, the original cause, Narayana, Lord Narayan. The Maya aspect of material nature is the immediate cause of the cosmic manifestation, but it cannot be the real cause, for the original cause is Lord Narayan. Let's repeat. The Maya aspect of material nature is the immediate cause of the cosmic manifestation, but it cannot be the real cause, for the original cause is Lord Narayan. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Anvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nityanandam aham nomi sarvananda param karam. Harinama pradam devam avadhuta shiromanim. Nityananda namastubhyam premananda pradayane. Kalau kalmashanashaya Shri Jahnava Pataye Namaha. Nama Shrishtham Manopishachi Patratra Surupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Uripuri Mathurim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kirpaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. Hare Krishna. So first of all, I would like to seek blessings from all the senior devotees, especially Panchagauda Prabhu, Dharmatma Prabhu, and all the assembled Vaishnavas and the Vaishnavis. Being really very neophyte and unqualified, I am sitting here at your service. For my purification and pleasure of all the devotees assembled here, I'll try to speak something. So the chapter is titled as Glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram, 5th chapter Adi Lila. So generally every Monday we have class, and last Monday I think it was Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disappearance day, and Bhakti Damodar Goswami Maharaj gave an amazing class about life and the history of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And prior to that, that Monday we actually discussed on the 58th verse. I by order of Dharmatma Prabhu, I just put some effort to have a discussion here on last Monday. So because we have just once in a week Chaitanya Charitamrita class, and that too is very, very philosophical, especially initial 7 chapters, as we have discussed many a times. So let's a little recapitulation to what we discussed, so that we can have a nice flow of the discussion, because furthermore heavy philosophy is going to come. So in the last discussion we talked about Pradhan, that what is Pradhan. So let's recap that. So Pradhan is basically a seed form which actually Lord manifests through his Maya potency. The Srashta Purush or Karanodakshaya Vishnu manifests through Maya Shakti, because Maya works in 2 ways. One is bewildering the living entities. Second is creating an agency to support the material world or to create the material world. So this is done in a seed form. So Pradhan is a seed form, and Pradhan has all the components to actually further do the creation or expand the creation. But it is in an inactive state. It is not in an active state. So what Lord Karanodakshaya Vishnu or the Srashta Purush does, Lord actually glances on this Pradhan. By Lord's glance, what happens? Lord gives 2 elements which were missing earlier. Okay, what are those? Any? Kala, yes, time factor, and Jiva, yes, Jiva. Jiva or the soul, living entity, and the time factor Kal. So Lord manifests through his glance these 2 elements into the Pradhan. As soon as these 2 elements are, you can say, manifested, so then it gives rise, from Pradhan it transforms into something called as Mahat Tattva. Okay? So Mahat Tattva. And Ahankar actually manifests into 3 modes. Ahankar in the mode of goodness, Ahankar in the mode of passion, and Ahankar in the mode of ignorance. So then we discussed that Ahankar in the mode of goodness gives rise to what? Mind. Man in Hindi or Sanskrit. Mind. And along with mind, it gives rise to sense devatas. So before the senses are created, the controller of the senses are actually created. Okay, like for example, if you want to see something, our senses are controlled by, our eyes are controlled by Lord Sun, S-U-N, Sun, okay, Surya Dev. Our tongue is controlled by Ashwini Kumar. Our hands and legs are controlled by Indra Devta. So that's how it is done. And in the mode of, this was in the mode of goodness. Then the mode of passion. What happens in the mode of passion? Intelligence and senses. 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 functioning senses. Pancha Jnanendriya created. And also another thing is created which is called Pranavayu in the mode of passion. Pranavayu. So intelligence, senses and Pranavayu. So what all a jiva needs to carry the body, that is majorly created by mode of passion. Or all 3 modes, but majorly mode of passion, because mode of passion, as we discussed the last time, it's an action. Whenever the passion comes, action comes into picture. If you go to any Madhva temple, especially down south in South Karnataka, if you go to Pajaka Kshetra, which is Madhvacharya's birthplace. So as soon as you enter the temple, on the left side it is written, Vishnu Sarvottam Vayu Jivottam. That's what they mention. So I used to be very confused, because this is not mentioned in any of the sampradayas, neither Ramanuja sampradaya nor even Gaudiya sampradayas. That how come Vayu is the Jivottama? How come Vayu is the topmost living entity? So then I had a discussion with one of my friends who is in Madhva sampradaya. He said, no, it does not necessarily means that Vayu is Jivottama, means the Vayu is the topmost living entity. Vayu here means the Prana Vayu. Jiva can come out of Tama, Uttama. Jiva can actually cross Tama when Vayu is actually there. Because if Vayu is not there, it's a dead body. So when the Prana Vayu is there, then Jiva can actually do everything. It can inhale, exhale, all the senses get, the life air, the energy, etc., etc. That's what another meaning is there. But yes, of course, Madhvas also consider Vayu as Jivatma because Madhvacharya is Ansh of Vayu. Or, Hanumanji and Madhvacharya, they are Ansh of Vayu. That's why they say that, either Vayu is Jivatma, Madhva is Jivatma. So for that Sampradaya, that's not incorrect. But so this was the, you can say, implied meaning which he gave me intricacy about that. So we discussed the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 functioning senses, intelligence and pranavayu. Mind is already created in the mode of goodness. The mode of ignorance, what manifests? Is Pancha Mahabhut. Earth, air, fire, water and ether. Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash. So these are created. And along with these, Panchatan Matras, or the 5 sense objects, like Rupa, or the form, Gandha, is the smell, Sparsha, the touch, and what else? Taste, yeah, the rasa, and Shabda, the sound. These are also created. So that Jiva actually can interact with these. So imagine if Jiva is created, but nothing of these things are existing, then what will happen? Jiva cannot interact with the material nature. And then, when all these combine together, Ahankar, Mahatattva, and Pradhan, when they all combine together, this actually works in a very systematic pattern by the arrangement of Lord and Lord's Maya potency. That's how the Srishti, or the creation, takes place. That's what we discussed in text 58. And then, 57. Then in 58th text, Srila Prabhupada's, in the purport, he says a beautiful line. He says that 3 forces work in the causal portion of Maya knowledge: Jnana Shakti, Ichcha Shakti, or Kriya Shakti. Or Prabhupada says knowledge, desire, and activity. So this knowledge, desire, and activity, this is for the conditioned soul, in the Baddha Avastha, in the conditioned state. This is not in the Nitya Avastha, or the liberated state. Okay? So when, as we discussed in the same line, if you see, when all this is created, so what happens by arrangement of Maya, Jiva acquires the knowledge, the Jnana Shakti, that, okay, so this is a fan. What is a fan? Fan is an instrument. If I can switch on, I can actually take some nice air. I can enjoy this fan. I can have some nice cool breeze out of this fan in the heat of summer. So that's a knowledge. And then what happens? Ichcha Shakti. Then desires are created by seeing the object, by acquiring the knowledge. This is how I can enjoy. An activity, just going, switching on the fan, or buying the fan, getting it fixed and switching on the fan. That's activity. It's a simple example I try to give. So that's how it is. But in the Lord, in the Karanadaksha Vishnu, or Krishna himself, this 3 potencies, knowledge, desire, and activity, are a little different. You must have heard this very famous verse from Shvetashwar Upanishad. Srila Prabhupada has quoted it in multiple times in many purports. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natat samascha bhyadikascha drishyate, parasya shakti vividhaya shruyate, swabhaviki jnana bala kriya cha. So in Krishna or Vishnu, it is not desire, it is bala. Because by Krishna's bala or potency, actually everything is emanating or getting manifested. And that actually Krishna doesn't do directly. So the bala actually is Balaram, or Lord Nityanand, in one sense. Because Balaram, Krishna's first expansion is Balaram, then it is all Karanadaksha Vishnu, Mahavishnu, all those expansion, further expansion. So that's how it is created. So, so what it says, this verse, beautiful verse from Shvetashwar Upanishad, it says, Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. That for the Lordship, for Lord Vishnu, na tacha karyam. There is no karya. Lord is not supposed to do any karya, any activity. Any activity means any material activity. In spiritual world, he does a lot of activities. He plays with his cowherd boys' friends. He, does Rasa Lila with his, fellow gopi mates. Then he also have interaction with elderly gopas and the gopis. All these things are done in spiritual world. And when Krishna actually incarnates, comes in this material world, he even lifts the Govardhan hill. So many activities he does. He kills so many demons also, right? He creates all the Mahabharata plan, Then he goes as a Shanti Dut or a peaceful messenger. But from inside as a Paramatma, he's instigating Duryodhana. No, don't accept, don't accept, don't accept, don't accept. And then Duryodhana said, no, I will not even give an inch land to those Pandavas. And then Mahabharata takes place. The greatest war in the human history ever so far. So na tasya karyam karanam. Karana means the senses. Now, the Lord doesn't have any material senses. So that's what, when we offer a bhoga plate in front of the Lordship, so Krishna just, glances. Indriyani yasya saklayar. So all the senses of Krishna are perfect senses. Just by eyes also, just by looking at that bhoga plate, Krishna actually can enjoy this bhoga what we give to Krishna. Krishna can take it. Then na tas samas cha abhyadikas cha drishyate. Na tas sama. Sama means on an equal platform. Like in Adi Lila, at one passage, Kaviraj Maharaj says, when the Gopa friends, when they actually talk to Krishna, they say, Tumi kona boda vyakti, tumi ami sam. What kind of a great man you are? Tumi ami sam. You and me are equal. We are equal. You are a coward boy, I am also a coward boy. If you'll not give me a lift from this place to that place, then just get out. You are not part of this game. And Krishna with folded hand, okay, please accept me in the game. I'll take you on my back. I'll give you a ride. That's how Krishna does. Tumi ami sam. So that's for the Nitya Parshada or the Golokavasis, Lord's actually eternal associates. This is the fact. But otherwise, nata sama. There is no one who is equal to the Lordship. So what to say of cha abhyadika means who can be adhika or even greater than Lord. If somebody is not even equal, how can be somebody greater than Lord? Parasya shaktis vividhaya shruyate. Shruyate means all the shrutis, all the Vedas. From that we have heard. Para, that supreme personality of Godhead, Shakti Vividhaiva. So all those Shaktis, all those potencies are Vividha, means full of variegatedness. That's what it says. Swabhaviki, and very naturally. It is not that, like for example, if somebody wants to have a nice physique, the person will maybe do some exercise, some running, go to the gymnasium. But Krishna is having all the Swabhaviki very naturally. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jnana, Bala, Kriya, Cha. So Krishna has three transcendental potencies. Jnana, Shakti, Bala Shakti, the strength, and Kriya Shakti, or the activities. Then Srila Prabhupada says in text 59 that Prakriti is dull and inert. It cannot actually be the cause of material world. But Lord Krishna shows his mercy by infusing his energy into dull, inert material nature. By just glancing. Just by Krishna's glance. And text 60 talks about how a hot iron rod, which is just lying, so you can touch, anybody can pick it up. But if you just keep that same iron rod in a fire for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour more, then it becomes as hot or even more fiercely hot than even fire. So that's what the association is. So Kaviraj Maharaj compares fire as Krishna and hot iron rod as Maya. So Maya takes all the potencies. That's how Maya is so extremely potent. It's so difficult. What Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? Mama Maya Duratyaya. Devi Hesha Mama Maya, Mama Maya Duratyaya. Okay? But Mameva Prapadante Mayametam Tarantite. So the only possibility of Jiva to actually cross is to take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And in the 61st text, Srila Prabhupada and Kaviraj Maharaj actually gives a description that as a goat has some nipple-looking structure or formation on the neck, if somebody wants to get a milk from those nipples, it is not possible. So even Lord Kapila also, Srila Prabhupada gives a quotation from Lord Kapila. He tells that how a huge fire, if somebody sees a huge fire, so in the general terms, what it is called as fire. But fire is separate, the coal or the wood is definitely separate. Flames are separate. Smoke is separate. All these are separate elements. But generally when we see, what we say? What's a huge fire? That's it. We know, no, it's a wood, it's a smoke, it's a spark, it's a fume, it's a smoke, etc., etc. We don't say that. We just say in one sense. So that's how Krishna's potency is, very full of variegatedness or full of variety. But generally, we just say Lord's potency as Maya Shakti. So Maya Shakti is again, because of Krishna, it is full of variety. Then, in text 62, which is today's text, we already read that Maya aspect of material nature is the immediate cause of cosmic manifestation. But it cannot be the real cause, for the original cause is Lord Narayan. So original cause is Lord Narayan himself. And just by his desire to create this material cosmic manifestation, he just expands or empowers Maya Shakti to actually do it. So I was thinking to go until text 66 today. Text 66 has a long purport. So we will now read text 63. Ghatera nimitta hetu jaiche kumbhakara Ghatera karana chakra dandadi upaja. Sorry. Taiche jagatera karta purusha avatara. Just as the original cause of an earthen pot is the potter, so the creator of the material world is the first Purush incarnation, Karana Aranavashayi Vishnu, or Karanadakshayi Vishnu. Udaka or Aranava is the same meaning, the waters. Text 64. Krishna karta mayatara karena sahaya Ghatera karana chakra dandadi upaja. Lord Krishna is the creator and Maya only helps him as an instrument, just like the potter's wheel and other instruments which are the instrumental cause of a pot. So I'm pretty sure in India, most of us, if not all of us, most of us must have seen a potter doing a pottery. Like so it's a long stick and there's a wheel. And just by that, an expert potter creates nice, structures like a small pot and a bigger pot or the bigger pot, etc., etc. So that's what Kaviraj Maharaj said, Chakra, Danda, Adi, Upaya. He utilizes Chakra and Danda. Chakra means the wheel, Danda means the stick. Text 65. Dhura haite purusha kare mayata avadhana Jivarupa viryata te karena adhana. The first Purusha casts his glance at Maya from a distance and thus impregnates her with the seed of life in the form of living entities. So Dura, from a distance. Text 66. Eka anga abhase kare mayata milana Mahā Maya haite janme tabe brahmandera gana. The reflected rays of his body mix with Maya, and thus Maya gives birth to myriad universes. Myriad means, I think, unlimited. Okay, in a nice pattern, unlimited universes. So as we discussed, this has a very long purport, very, very philosophical. So what we'll try to do, we have like maybe 15-20 minutes. We will try to break down the purport in the paragraphs, and paragraph, we will try to reflect what Srila Prabhupada is trying to communicate to us. Purport. The Vedic conclusion is that the cosmic manifestation visible to the eyes of conditioned soul is caused by absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, through the exertion of his specific energies. Although in the conclusion of atheistic deliberations, the manifested cosmic exhibition is attributed to material nature. The energy of absolute truth is exhibited in three ways: spiritual, material, and marginal. The absolute truth is identical with his spiritual energy. Only when contacted by the spiritual energy can the material energy work and temporary material manifestation thus appear active. In the conditioned state, the living entities of the marginal energy are a mixture of spiritual and marginal energies. The marginal energy is originally under the control of spiritual energy, but under the control of material energy, the living entities have been wandering in the forgetfulness within a material nature since time immemorial. So this is the first paragraph. Srila Prabhupada says that Jiva is, actually if you see, Jiva is technically spiritual. Jiva is not material. Krishna has three potencies. Srila Prabhupada says in purport. What are those three potencies? Spiritual, material, and marginal. Okay, Adhyatmik, Bhautik, and Tatastha. So Jiva comes under Tatastha, or the marginal potency. But Jiva is not material. It's on the margin. So, how come a spiritual energy be so much influenced and overpowered by the material energy? It's very, sometimes it's really bewildering. So we can understand this with a small example. Like small iron filings. In Hindi we call choti keel, okay, small iron filings. So iron is more dense or air? Of course iron. Iron is really dense, much more denser than air. But if those filings are just spread around and a strong gust of wind comes, then what happens? They start moving, even being much denser. So you can say until the Jiva understands its original position of being Nitya Krishna Das. Until then, so Krishna is compared to a very huge magnet. Okay? And once the iron filings are stuck to the magnet, then whatever gust of wind comes, iron filing will be stuck to the magnet. So Krishna is like that magnet. And what? Maya. So that's what we discuss. Maya mam evaya prapadyante maya metam tarantite. As soon as we take shelter of Krishna. So on the sadhaka platform, because now on the sadhaka platform we are proceeding towards that strong magnet. We are not maybe necessarily in a direct contact with that magnet. But with the mercy and with the channel of Hari Guru and Vaishnava, we are just trying to go closer and closer to that magnet. The closer we are going to the magnet, stronger we are becoming as iron filing. And the wind's effect will be lesser and lesser. That's how with a simple example, we can try to understand. The second paragraph. The condition stated is caused by misuse of individual independence of the spiritual platform. For this separates the living entity from the association of spiritual energy. But when the living entity is enlightened by the grace of Supreme Lord or his pure devotee and becomes inclined to revive his original state of loving service, he is on the most auspicious platform of eternal bliss and knowledge. The marginal jiva or the living entity misuses his independence and becomes averse to the eternal service attitude when he independently thinks he is not energy but energetic. This misconception of his own existence leads him to the attitude of lording it over material nature. Ultimately, that as Thakur Bhaktivinoda in one bhajan says, Jiva Krishna Das Karaye Vishwas to Ara Dukha Nai. Right? So, but what Jiva does, Jiva is actually thinking that I am the Lord. I want to enjoy this material world. Until Jiva is in that mindset or that consciousness, that's the right word, Jiva will suffer. Jiva will come back again and again in this material world. Next, material nature appears to be just opposite the spiritual energy. The fact is that the material energy can work only when in contact with the spiritual energy. Originally, the energy of Krishna is spiritual, but it works in a diverse ways. Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example. Like electrical energy, which can exhibit the functions of refrigerating or heating through the manifestation in different ways. The material energy is spiritual energy covered by the cloud of illusion or maya. Therefore, the material energy is not self-sufficient in working. Krishna invests his spiritual energy into material energy and then it can act. Just as iron can act like fire after being heated by fire. The material energy can act only when empowered by the spiritual energy. And the next paragraph, fourth. When covered by cloud of material energy, the living entity who is also spiritual energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead forgets about the activities of spiritual energy and considers all happens in material manifestation to be wonderful. But a person who is engaged in devotional service, in full Krishna consciousness, and who is therefore already situated in the spiritual energy, can understand the material energy has no independent powers. Whatever actions are going on are due to the help of spiritual energy. The material energy, which is perverted form of spiritual energy, presents everything pervertedly, thus causing misconceptions and duality. Material scientists and philosophers, conditioned by the spell of material nature, suppose the material energy act automatically, and therefore are frustrated like illusion person who tries to get milk from the nipples like bunches of skin on the neck of the goat. As there is no possibility of getting milk from those bunches of skin, there is similarly no possibility of anyone will be successful in understanding the original cause of creation by putting forward theories produced by material energy. Such an attempt is manifestation of ignorance. So ignorance when Srila Prabhupada is giving actually in a very, very simple terminologies. Otherwise, basically Maya actually gives in, three different ways. One is, as we discussed, Pradhan we already discussed. Then Vidya and Avidya. So mostly, Prabhupada generally in my humble experience, what I've seen is Prabhupada uses these terminologies interchangeably. Sometimes Prabhupada just called Avidya, sometimes Prabhupada just says Maya. So in this context, Maya means actually Avidya. So that's what Prabhupada says at the end, this is Avidya. So this particular thing what Prabhupada is saying, the forgetfulness of Jiva about the Lordship. So this very famous verse you must have heard, Krishna bhuliya jiva bhoga vancha kare, nikatastha tare maya jhapatiya dhare. So this is you can say, beautiful text from a book called Prema Vivarta by Jagadananda Pandit. Jagadananda Pandit, who is none other than Satyabhama in Dwarka Lila. So Satyabhama appeared as Jagadananda Pandit in Gaura Lila, and Prema Vivarta is the book written by him. It's the epitome of love. It's all the ecstasies of love of Godhead which are in detail mentioned. So Srila Prabhupada, this particular verse, that Krishna Bhuliya Jeev, Srila Prabhupada, in my finding, maybe more, I saw at least 7 or 8 times Prabhupada mentions this. And specifically, Srila Prabhupada mentions this in 4th canto, 4 times in 1 canto. When Narad Muni sees that King Prachin Bharishad, I'm sure everybody knows that episode, King Prachin Bharishad, who was really, really addicted to material enjoyment, and Narad Muni being very merciful, very kind on him, he goes and preaches him. And allegorically, he creates a story of King Puranjana Upakhyan, at how this 9 gates, then compares this body with the city of 9 gates, and a beautiful woman as his wife. All these details are given. And there, in that particular section, Prabhupada 4 times quotes this. So I just wanted to tell where exactly. 4th canto, chapter 25th, text 25. Srila Prabhupada quotes this. 4th canto, chapter 28th, text 53rd. Then 4th canto, 29th chapter, text 6. And 4th canto, 29th chapter, text 65. And then in 6th canto and the 10th canto. And Prabhupada gives a little different, what we generally say. So Prabhupada gives that Krishna bahir mukha jiva haya bhoga vancha kare nikatastha maya tare jhapatiya dhare. I've heard Panchagura Prabhu quoting this verse many times in his class, that Krishna bhuliya jiva bhoga vancha kare, Krishna bhuliya jiva bhoga vancha. I've heard Prabhu also quoting this verse many a times. So as soon as the Jiva wants to enjoy Maya. So as we discussed, Maya works in 2 ways. As an agent to create the material manifestation, and as a facilitator. That yes, you want to enjoy, I will facilitate you. Like if you go to any kind of a concert or any kind of a program or something, so there are facilitators who are there. So one is a back-end team who's arranging all the programs, and some are the front-end teams. That yes, okay, so this is your seat, this is your coupon, this is your lunch coupon, this is your breakfast coupon, etc., etc. And that's how you can actually enjoy, or you can participate in the whole program. And Prabhupada also talks about the perverted nature of the material, perverted aspect of the material nature. So anybody remembers from Bhagavad Gita the verse which talks about the perverted nature? Urdhvamulam, yes, Urdhvamulam adha shakha. Urdhvamulam means mula or the root is urdhva, upside. Adha means the downside is shakha. Generally it is what? Root is towards the ground, but it is upside down. Ashwatham prahur avyayam. Okay, this Ashwatha vriksha. And Prabhupada gives a translation of Ashwatha as what? A banyan tree. But generally Ashwatha is a peepal tree. Okay, banyan is Vatavriksha. But because of the nature of, you can say, a longevity or a very long life of banyan tree, maybe Prabhupada gave that, and because of its density, banyan tree is really dense, and banyan tree also has a nature that all the small branches, they start shooting, and actually they get merged into the ground. Maybe because of that nature. And then we need to proceed to the next paragraph. Okay, the material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Maya or illusion, because in two capacities, by supplying the material elements and by causing the material manifestation, it makes the conditioned soul unable to understand the real truth of creation. However, when a living entity is liberated from the conditioned life of matter, he can understand the two different activities of material nature, namely covering and bewildering. So technically this is called as Avaranatmika Shakti and Prakshepa Atmika Shakti. So Avarana, as the Sanskrit word says, is a covering. So what Maya does, it covers the knowledge or the spiritual consciousness of the jiva. That I am actually a jiva, I am not this body. So that's a covering, that's a Avarana. And what's the Prakshepa? If I'm not this, if I'm covered, my knowledge is gone. What is this Prakshepa? Prakshepa is, I am this body. I am the enjoyer. So that's what Prabhupada is saying in very simple terminologies. Next, the origin of creation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 10. Who will tell this verse? Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. Hetunanena kontaya jagat viparivartate. So Mayadhyakshena prakriti, under my supervision the cosmic manifestation is working. So the cosmic manifestation working under the direction of Supreme Lord, who invests the material energy with three material qualities. Agitated by these qualities, the elements supplied by the material energy produce variety of things, just as an artist produces varieties of picture by mixing three colors, red, yellow and blue. Even Prabhupada gives the significance of these colors. Yellow represents the quality of goodness, red represents passion and blue represents ignorance. Therefore the colorful material creation is but an interaction of these three qualities represented in 81 varieties of mixture. So 3 into 3 equaling 9 and 9 into 9 thus equaling 81. Deluded by material energy, the conditioned soul enamored by these 81 varieties of manifestations wants to lord it over material energy, just as a moth wants to enjoy a fire. This illusion is net result of the conditioned soul's forgetfulness of his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When conditioned, the soul is impelled by material energy to engage in sense gratification, whereas one enlightened by spiritual energy engages himself in the service of the Supreme Personality of Lord in his eternal relationship. I think this is pretty straight. So Prabhupada is giving analogy of the color mixing. That's how the Maya Shakti also mixes variety of enjoyment, multitude of enjoyment, okay? And from the very basic to the very highest level of enjoyment. So I worked in corporate, I still have a small business, so in the corporates, we used to go to, some kind of, they used to say award and glory, crowning glory, some kind of, award, and they used to take us to multiple locations, different locations, sometime domestic, sometime international. I used to wonder what kind of arrangements they do. It's really bewildering. And at times you really are forced or tend to, think, does really Krishna exist? I mean, but if we are really, very strong and very rooted to our sadhana, our japa, our reading, our hearing, etc., then actually we can say that this is variety of, enjoyment which is created by Maya Devi, nothing else. Let's proceed. Krishna is the original cause of the spiritual world, and he is the covered cause of material manifestation. So Krishna is direct cause of spiritual world and covered cause. Because who is the direct cause of material world? Maya Shakti, Maya Devi. Of course, by Krishna's arrangement. He is also the cause of the the marginal potency, the living entities. He is both the leader and the maintainer of all the living entities, who are called the marginal potency because they can act under the protection of spiritual energy or under the cover of material energy. With the help of spiritual energy, we can understand that independence is visible only in Krishna, who by his inconceivable energy is able to act in a way as he likes. I think it's pretty straight. So let's proceed to the next. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the absolute whole, and the living entities are parts of the absolute whole. This relationship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entities is eternal. One should never mistakenly think that spiritual whole can be divided into small parts by small material energy. The Bhagavad Gita does not support this Mayavad theory. Rather, it clearly states that the living entities are eternally small fragments of supreme spiritual whole. As a part can never be equal with the whole, so a living entity as a minute fragment of the spiritual whole cannot be equal at any time to supreme whole, the absolute personality of Godhead. Although the Supreme Lord and the living entities are quantitatively related to the whole and the parts are nevertheless qualitatively one with the whole. Thus the living entities, although always qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord, are in a relative position. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the controller of everything, and the living entities are always controlled either by spiritual energy or by material energy. Therefore, a living entity can never become the controller of material or spiritual energies. The natural position of living entity is always as a subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one agrees to act in such a position, he attains perfection in life. But if one rebels against this principle, he is in the conditioned state. So as we discussed, Thakur Bhaktivinoda says, Jiva Krishna Das, Kare Vishwas, Ta'ara Dukha Nai. Then there is no misery. So in the due course of time, when we proceed further, Kaviraj Maharaj will actually, now he's talking about Maya, then he will again come back to the, first he talked about the Srashta Purush or Karana Aranavashai Vishnu, then his energies, Maya Shakti, and then again he will go back that this Maya Shakti is a part and parcel of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu who is just part and parcel of Lord Balaram, who is none other than Lord Nityananda. Okay? So, it's very, very philosophical, I know it's heavy, but Srila Prabhupada, I was hearing one lecture, Srila Prabhupada said that you can just go on chant Hare Krishna, go on chanting Hare Krishna, but if your mind is philosophical, we have hundreds of books. And if you cannot understand these books, then just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So, but yes, we need to put our energy, our brain to this. Otherwise, so it gives us stability. That's what Kaviraj Maharaj says. Siddhanta sunya chitta nahi karvalasya ihaite Krishna lagi sudrida manas. If you want to establish Krishna in a sudrida way, in a strong way in your heart, just read, just hear, just read. And Srila Prabhupada has beautifully given both the sides. If you want great philosophy, hundreds of books. If you cannot read so many books, our 24-hour Kirtan program is here all the time in Vrindavan Dham. And I humbly request again to all of you, please participate for at least few hours every day. His Grace Panchagoda Prabhu is setting us such a great example, being a temple president. Who? Who can be more busier than him? Temple president. It seems okay, our president means sitting on a chair and relaxing. No, it's very difficult, very, very difficult. Managing, especially the whole temple, so many departments, and people like me, it's very difficult. But Prabhu is setting us such a great example every day without fail. If not twice, at least once he comes and participates in Kirtan. So what excuse we have for not participating in Nam Sankirtan? This is my humble request. So we have 5 minutes. If any questions, comments? Oh, definitely a comment.
I'll send you the Maha later.
Thank you, Prabhu.
One may be philosophically inclined, very intellectual, but still they can't understand Krishna without actually devotional service, without surrendering in a devotional attitude. Yeah. So even though you're making a joke that, if you're not philosophical, you could join the Kirtan party, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the Kirtaniyas were being a little bit ridiculed by Prakashananda Saraswati and the other sannyasis. But ultimately, Lord Chaitanya revealed to them, and they knew that he was Nimai Pandit, they knew that he was actually philosophically sound. So they proved that bhakti is the highest level, and of course, jnana, then vairagya comes. Which is, I guess, a bit of a comment.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice comment.
So the question...
All the great scholars are saying.
The question is, Maya is Krishna's energy. So, and the one job, just want to understand. So Maya's job is, what is Maya's real business is just to keep the conditioned souls entangled in this material world and directly, indirectly force them to turn towards Krishna. So that is the only job of this material world, Maya's energy, or Krishna created this Maya, this energy for some other purpose as well, or is it just to take the conditioned soul back to Godhead, because somehow they left the spiritual world and they are back in material world. So that's why this material world was created. Is that the only purpose, or there is some other purpose as well?
Maya's primary job is actually to create a facility for the jivas to surrender to Krishna. That's her primary job. But as Krishna cannot or can, but Krishna doesn't want to interfere in the individual's independence. So that's what Maya cannot also interfere. Because Krishna does not do, that's why Maya doesn't do. So as we discussed in the, few minutes back, that Maya does in three ways actually she does. One, she creates, through the Pradhan Shakti. Second is Vidya and Avidya. Vidya is also there. It is not just Avidya. So this Vidya and Avidya works materially as well as spiritually. So Vidya means knowledge. Avidya means ignorance. Somebody who is ignorant, even forget about the devotional service. Even in the material life, you're a father. So what does generally the parents say to their kids? You have to study hard. You need to study. You need to work hard. Otherwise, what you will do in your life? You will be an ignorant fool. So that's like a material aspect of it. And if somebody studies very nicely, somebody accumulates some kind of a talent, this, that, so they can really, flourish in the material world. That's the material side of it. On the spiritual side, actually Maya creates all the facilities for jiva to actually surrender, provided the jiva is comes in contact with some sadhus, some Vaishnavas, either directly in the form of a guru or maybe just Vaishnavas. So as soon as that happens, but there is no specific reason, actually speaking. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhuri Kadambini, he says, Yadrichaya. That's the only word he gives. Yadrichaya. It is by Ichha or causeless mercy of Krishna or that Vaishnava. When Jiva comes in a contact with Sadhu, then Maya keeps on facilitating. So this is again all, all these things, Prabhuji, but this is all Maya. This mic, cameras, these fans, this building, this structure, this is formation of Maya. But this is a nice facilitation. I was having, not me directly, but many years back, Ayendra Prabhu was giving a talk in his room, and he said a beautiful thing. He said that Maya is actually expansion of Radharani, Srimati Radharani. And Radharani's primary job is to attract jivas to Krishna. Then how can Maya's primary job is to bewilder the jivas? It is not possible. Radharani, in, you can say, expansive form of Maya, she is creating just a stage for jivas, and she is creating also stage for Krishna to dance in the material nature, in the spiritual nature, both sides. So Maya's primary job is not to bewilder. But the only thing is, that's what Krishna says, Mama evaya prapadyante. The first we have to surrender. That's why Prabhupada wrote a book, Surrender Unto Me. Okay, this is surrender unto me. This is Prabhupada used to quote it. That's what Krishna says. So surrendered jivas, as soon as the jiva takes shelter of Krishna, then Maya facilitates to her best of her capacity. That's why even as devotees, we should actually pray to Maya Devi that don't show me your material aspect, just show me your yoga Maya aspect or the spiritual aspect. So that's my humble understanding, Prabhu. Anybody else? We are already 2 minutes over time. Yes.
Hare Krishna. As you were saying that Maya facilitates towards Krishna, can you give how does he facilitate? I didn't understand.
Maya facilitates jiva, not Krishna.
Jiva towards Krishna. Like,
towards Krishna.
Yeah, how to understand?
I gave a simple example. This microphone, I can sing any kind of nonsense songs, but we are singing Hare Krishna Mahā Mantra 24/7. So this is one example. So this is creation of Maya. Hold this cement, these bricks, these fans, these ACs, everything. This is all creation of Maya. But what we are doing, we are just utilizing in Krishna's services. That's all.
Thank you.
Yes, I think Mataji wants to ask one question.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Krishna.
you for your class, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
I've been having a question. I have a question about earlier when we were reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam earlier in the week. We were reading in the purport where it's saying that Krishna is in charge of our senses. He's the control of the senses and our vision, etc. And what I want to understand is he directly controlling? Because my understanding was that the demigods are the ones who are actually controlling the activities and the senses of the jiva soul. And also in terms of pradhan, you were talking about his glance on the pradhan brings it to life.
Right.
Am I understanding?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I thought I heard earlier in some of the class, I heard that Vishnu doesn't actually glance. It's Shiva that actually is glancing. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think let's go in the reverse order. Let's talk about the pradhan and the glance. Whatever I have read so far and heard so far, it's actually Karanodakshaya Vishnu or the Srashta Purush, Karana Aranavashaya Vishnu, who glances on the pradhan. It is not Jiva who glances. Jiva is...
I thought it was
Shiva.
Shiva, yes.
Oh.
No. Lord Shiva. That
Lord
Lord Shiva is the one who actually glances.
No, Mahavishnu only, Karanodakshaya Vishnu. He glances actually. That's what even in the second canto, in fifth canto, many places it's mentioned. Even now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Maharaj is giving an explanation in this chapter. Mm-hmm. So it's a direct, you can read all the texts prior to this, from text something like 45th or 46th until now. So all these things are mentioned only.
So the demigods are...
No, demigods, okay, now coming back to the first part of your question. So as we discussed, when Pradhan is created, then in the mode of goodness, sense devatas are also created. Sense devata means who are controller of our senses. Like for eyes it is sun, for tongue it is Ashwini Kumar, for nose, different, like Indra is for hands and legs, etc., etc. So when these sense devatas are created, so the jiva, until under the spell of Maya, until under the spell of material energy, then these demigods actually act through, they control these senses. But when the jiva takes shelter of Krishna and becomes a pure devotee means really, really advanced devotee, he crosses the stage at least of Nishtha, Ruchi, all these stages, then Krishna starts taking direct control of his senses. That's how it happens. And when the jiva attains a bhava stage, then it is really very, very closely Krishna actually takes the control. And prema means is completely, because the only difference is about the consciousness. When jiva attains the bhava stage, the consciousness is so very different. Like for example, like Prabhu said to me that I'll give you Maha later. So this Maha, when it comes to me, I will receive it with a different consciousness. But if this Maha goes to Srila Prabhupada, for example, what kind of consciousness he will have to receive this Maha? I heard one devotee was mentioning, when Srila Prabhupada used to honor Prasadam, he used to just face wall, not talk to anybody. He used to just take prasad, maybe 30-40 minutes. He used to just take prasad, one morsel, and just chewing it nicely, meditating on something. Never used to talk to anybody. So that means what? That's a consciousness. It is not just, okay, eat, fill the belly and just run for the show. No. It's like a conscious, it is touched, it is adharamrita. It's touched by Lord's tongue and the lips. So this is a different level of consciousness. So when it comes to a sadhaka, when it goes to a siddha. Okay. This is my humble understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Prabhu is saying, and if you understand that, please chant Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so do we have time or should we? Because better get. Okay, we can talk in private person. Okay, thank you so very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Nityananda Mahajan ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.